You're with Ireland AM. Now, our streets, they have become the subject of increasing debate about concerns with crime, antisocial behaviour and public safety. A new Virgin Media documentary, Policing Dublin City, follows frontline Gardaí as they confront the realities of policing Ireland's capital. Joining us now are Virgin Media News crime correspondent Paul Quinn, Social Democrats TD Gary Gannon and President of the Garda Representative Association, Niall Hodgins. Thank you so much.
Morning, guys.
Sorry, guys. It's a pleasure to have you all here. Paul, tell us about this documentary.
Yeah, so I think, look, it goes back to after the Dublin riots, November 2023. We remember those scenes of Lewis's on fire, the looting. They went all around the world. And after that, there was, a sense that Dublin wasn't safe. And you were seeing this rhetoric that Dublin isn't safe, Ireland isn't safe. And a lot of it peddled on social media as well. With high visibility policing coming in March 2025, we kind of just wanted to go out and see what exactly is happening. So go out on the beat with the guards, see what the reality is. Because the CSO stats will say that certain crime is coming down. Certain crime is going up, but it's how people perceive it, what the perception is. Because I know down at home in Sligo, you'd be talking about going up to Dublin for a night and people would be like, oh God, I wouldn't go up to Dublin. Like, it's not safe.
Yeah.
So we wanted to see what exactly is happening.
Listen, we do have a small clip of it, the show that's on tonight, Policing Dublin City. Let's take a quick look.
We come out here and we've dealt with confrontation over several years and you know what I mean, or policing in the city, and you don't know what you're going to face. It could be anything.
Do you think Dublin is safe for now? Because the crime stats, the official crime stats show that crime is coming down, but I suppose there's a perception out there that, Dublin isn't that safe.
Unfortunately, there's bad incidents. There's bad incidents everywhere. There's nothing. We're not going to be able to stop everything.
They're braver, they're bolder, and there's not a lot of consequences if they get caught, and they know that.
Growing up in the northeast of our city is a frightening place now. It's like a lawless society, unfortunately,
That's, I think, very interesting there, a contributor saying consequences. We've got on the front of the Irish Daily Mail today one of the mothers of the boys involved in the fatal M9 collision, saying that she wants the courts to get back because she wanted her son, who was up to have gone into prison, that we need to get the court system working again. Consequences, Niall, as a guard, as a person who's representing the Gardaí on their streets, are there consequences for people that you see getting bolder?
Well, I think your viewers won't be unfamiliar with the fact that there are no places available in young offenders' institutions. That, in fact, I think there are also HR issues around saying about more being asked of the staff in those particular detention centres. And the very same goes for the members that I represent. The members that I represent right across the country are being asked to do more with less. And what does that look like? That looks like their rest days being cancelled by the Garda Commissioner to police particular varying functions all around the country, all during the year, because there are a lack of numbers in the Guards. Now, I've spoken before about senior Garda managers and certain political people using slippery language around the numbers in the Guards. The fact is that we have an increase in population of 1.5 million people, and the Garda numbers have pretty much remained static over the last 10, 11, 12 years, even with efforts to increase recruiting and retention. Now, clearly those efforts don't go far enough in respect to the members that I represent.
Talk to us about the morale of the Guards, though. Whenever they're dealing with repeat offenders over and over again, having to, in terms of shoplifting, theft, they go and they pick them up. They probably know them on first name basis. They take them in to be charged, but they're back on the streets repeating it week after week.
Yeah, recidivist offending, Tommy, would be an issue in all our urban centres, not just Dublin.
Yeah.
And indeed in our rural centres too, because yet again, the perception that there are no guards available.
But how demoralising is it for the guards that are available, that are apprehending these individuals, but they're not facing any consequences?
So when you have our members that are really enthused on graduation from Templemore, and they're going to more or not most of them are going to these urban centres, and within a number of months, because of the recidivist offending and seeing that offender that they have successfully maybe got in their first 2 or 3 months of service return to the streets, it does affect their morale. Now, however, out of a moral sense of service to their community, they go at it again, and then yet again, it's repeat.
0896 111 111. We'd love to hear from you as to whether you feel safe when you're going out in your town, your village, your city, wherever it is that you are. Gary, you wrote a very powerful piece for the Journal not too long ago about you were just walking through Dublin city centre going over Connell Bridge, and you are a TD for Inner City Dublin. You're there all the time. And you were talking about homelessness, addiction, people kind of hanging around, and there just being this sort of an air of what was happening.
I think, Mary, what I was trying to convey that then would be a walk that I would do each single day was that there was something about the city that didn't only feel unsafe, the city felt sick. And I think the people who we often create the conditions for which we feel unsafe in the city, you're looking at they themselves lying in doorways, engaged in a form of chaotic behaviour that's increased by their own addiction. Then you have the people who are standing just to the side to take advantage of that addiction. They're going to sell them drugs. They're going to regulate their own market in the only way they can, through violence or the threat of violence. And then all the while you have guards, oftentimes young guards in certainly Dublin city centre, but I'm sure elsewhere also, who are just simply trying to police a problem for which they themselves don't have the capacity. Tommy, you mentioned consequences, but even where there are consequences, our prisons are at 156% capacity. We have a recidivism rate of nearly 7 out of every 10 people that will go into prison will reoffend within 3 years. Oftentimes they'll come out of prison more hardened in their addiction, more increased in their capacity to do violence. So what I would suggest is, rather than just seeing a role for the guards in terms of solving this, which I don't believe the guards in themselves can, we need to see this as a public health crisis. Be that the people in the throes of addiction, the people trying to exploit that, or even if you go down to, I often, sometimes get outside of Dublin, would you believe? But if I'm kind of in a town late at night, outside a chip or a pub, you're going to see young men in particular with the capacity to do violence. And for me, there has to be interventions here that go beyond simply locking people up.
What do you mean? Like, because drugs is one issue, antisocial behaviour is something different. How do we change this?
I don't think drugs and antisocial behaviour are actually different. I think people's capacity to engage in antisocial behaviour oftentimes stems from wanting to feed the habit. So the people who are going in shoplifting...
But there's a lot of people who aren't. There's a lot of people who are shoplifting who might not be feeding a drug habit. But then, like, even you're seeing with guards dealing with on public transport as well, like the frustration out there. So is that a case of going out there and trying
When the public transport antisocial behaviour happens, I think oftentimes that would happen late at night. It's very rarely that drink wouldn't be involved. Where drink is involved, oftentimes you'll see drugs. I do believe fully that there is a public health crisis, the length and breadth of this country. I absolutely feel that there is there is a role for police there. We don't have enough of our guards and we should support them better. But we also need youth work intervention operating late at night, mental health supports. I think one positive in Dublin City Centre, for example, has been the safe injection facility down in Merchants Quay. I mean, despite the fact that there were anxieties about that before it opened, we now have a scenario where people who are intravenously taking drugs, who otherwise would have been in a laneway, are now in a medical centre. And when they come to, we haven't had a single death in that centre in over 18 months, but there is a capacity to intervene there where we can try to get people out of their addiction. And that has to be the drive for us. We can't just keep filling prisons over and over and then sending people back out into the street. We have to look at the reasons by which people are committing crimes. I would argue the majority of those small crimes are drug-related, to feed a habit. The exploitation of those drug users is enforced through violence. In order to address that, we need to address the reasons why that market exists, and that's people taking drugs for a variety of different reasons.
Certainly, you know, I'm out a lot at night, whether it be Dublin or Limerick or whatever, and I don't feel as though it's... I know recently we've had a Dublin councillor, Gavin Pepper, go on Fox News and say that Ireland is one of the most dangerous countries in the entire world and you can't walk around Dublin anymore. I certainly don't feel that way. But Paul, you know, being on the front line with guards, you do feel a sense at certain times of night of hopelessness, of people in doorways who have nowhere else to go. And it's like they're ghosts.
Yeah.
It's like they're ghosts, and it's so sad.
I think I was really surprised just by, you know, the vast array of issues that Garda are having to deal with, the homelessness, the addiction, and as you say, I think we met like some of the, and they know them all by their first name. Like, in fairness to the guards, when they went out there, they were trying to help these people, but you know,
there's an element of social work going on,
moving them along the streets. And as we went around at night time, we were bumping into the same people, and you know, they were frustrated. They were like, you know, I've nowhere else to go. Like, I definitely think the high visibility, though, policing is working. We've seen it rolled out in Cork and Limerick just over a week ago. I was down in Galway. The shop owners in Galway were saying, you know, we're getting robbed every single day. So this is what we need. 2 shop owners I spoke to within 20 minutes says every single day we're being robbed.
So in terms of the CSO figures saying that the crime is falling, maybe the numbers actually aren't a true representation of actually what they're seeing.
Yeah, well, look, and I think certain crimes does appear to be falling. Gardaí will say that public order is up, drunkenness is up, but that's because they've got high visibility policing out there who are catching them, whereas thefts from shops are up. And you know, Gardaí will say, I think the last graduation back in July, that they have 14,700 sworn members. I think there's 600 in the training college, but there's never going to be enough guards, and everyone on the street just wants more guards. And you know, you were saying about nighttime, when you know what you see out on the streets at night. I think the day we were waiting to speak to you, Gary, it was 1:30 in the day. We were on O'Connell Bridge. We weren't filming at the time. The camera was on the ground, and there was 4 people openly drug dealing right beside us, and they asked us to stop looking at them because we were making them paranoid. And this is the middle of the day. So there's something wrong when that kind of issue is happening. And that's just become normal. And that's what, you know, tourists, and that's what people are seeing when they come into Dublin.
Stop looking at me, drug dealer. If you're not going to buy anything, stop looking at me. Sorry, I know it's not funny. I know it's not funny. Listen, we really appreciate you all coming in and talking about us today. Niall Hodgins, President of the Garda Representative Association, Gary Gannon, Social Democrats, TD, of course, for Dublin, and Paul Quinn, Virgin Media News Correspondent, who has put this documentary together.
We'd love to get your opinion at home. 0896 111 111. Are you feeling safe out on the streets? Policing Dublin City is on Virgin Media 1, and Virgin Media Play is on tonight at 9 o'clock.
Back with you shortly on Ireland.